the morning session. So you all are requested to please take your seats. And all those that are standing outside, please ask them. And maybe some of you sitting on the back side can come in front. Yeah, okay. So once again, a very good morning to all of you on recent morning of Ahmedabad. Most of you must have been to the Plenary Academy yesterday night. It was rather late, but you all must have enjoyed and you are refreshed. And back to the second day of conference. This morning we are starting with a very pertinent topic for which there could have been no other place than the Center for Environment Education. And as you know, the theme of the topic of the morning session is on education for circularity. I would like to request the speakers and panelists on the stage one by one. If I may have Mr. Hey Pandey, please, on the stage. Mr. Sudhir Kumar, sir. Shri Prabhu Joshi. Sudhir sir. Dr. Naresh Tyagi. Mr. Ajay Saxena, sir. And Saranya Kumari. So this morning we have a panel of 6 eminent members of the domain that one way or other are affiliated to not only the environmental sciences and climate change, but also to the subject of circular economy and circularity. We will have under the chairmanship of the head party, we will have 5 minutes each from the speakers. And we request them to stick to those 5 minutes because we have hardly 1 hour with us, and then we'll also follow with other questions and maybe an interaction with the audience. Would like to quickly introduce you to the panelists here. The chair is Mr. Hen Pandey. Hen Kumar Pandey ji is a retired Indian Administrative Services officer of bureaucrat with 36 years long tenure, and his last posting was in the Department of Consumer Affairs, where he has contributed a great deal. And even today, he is attached to the 50 cascade, where he focuses on, as an advisor, consumer rights and anti-counterfeiting efforts. Next to him, we have Sudhir Kumar ji. Mr. Sudhir Kumar is recently retired from the Niti Aayog as a veteran policymaker with vast experience in governance and strategic planning. During his tenure, he contributed significantly to shaping India's developmental policies, focusing on sustainability, growth, and infrastructure. Post his tenure, he remains a respected advisor not only to the ministry but to several other forums, one of which is also Center for Environment Education. Then we have none other than our beloved Mr. Prabhu Sodhi, my colleague and a friend, and he also has had a very long-standing, successful tenure with Center for Environment Education, followed by UNDP, Jeff, DFID, etc. And he has dedicated, I suppose, his entire life to sustainable developments and circular economy. At present, with us at CEE, he's leading the circularity and sustainability in the plastic sector, where we would be listening from him about his experience and aspirations. Then we have Dr. Naresh Tyagi, who at present is engaged as the Chief Sustainability Officer with the Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail, a large conglomerate of about 30 odd brands, fashion brands, under the umbrella of ABFRL, and he also has been dedicated to the field of sustainability throughout his tenure. Under his leadership, a great many achievements have been there registered with the ABFRL group, and he believes in the philosophy of innovation and sustainable development combined. Then we have Mr. Ajit Saxena, who retired as the PCCF Goa. He also has been to several states in his capacity as the IFS officer. At present, he is engaged with Goa, one of the blue flag beach, as a juror, and he also will be sharing his knowledge and experience with the marine biology. Last, we have Suranya Kumari ji. She is a Green Fellow at the Department of Environment and Climate Change, District Collectorate in Tamil Nadu, and she also plays a key role in implementing environmental policies and sustainability in and around her district. With this brief introduction, I would request the Chair, Shri Hemji, to give a preamble for a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Tushar Bhai. In fact, late last evening, Tushar Bhai told me you have to be here at 9 o'clock. There's a session. I didn't ask what session, about what is the subject. And in fact, my dear friend and learned panelist here, Prabhjot Sodhi, gave me a book recently. And I think it's a freedom is equal to boundaries, So, he was trying to remind me, learn saying no, set boundary, Later you realize that suddenly you always say yes, yes, yes. So, Prabhjot, despite the book, I will always say yes. It's a very interesting topic, dear to my heart, education for circularity. Those of us who know nature, love nature, other day, yesterday, when the, Kartikeya Bhai was being eulogized for 40th anniversary, so I mentioned nature protects if she is protected, circularity is already there in nature. Nature, nothing is ever wasted in nature. Think, nothing is ever wasted in nature. So, circularity term came now in 21st century. It was earlier resource efficiency. From always from the economic angle. But if you consider ecology, food chain, food web, photosynthesis, it's what? All the ecosystem services. This is all circularity. The resilience of the nature. You damage, it comes back. So we humans are the only exception who have disturbed nature's circularity. In our greed, in our avowed aim of individual, satisfaction, gratification, greed, So I have learned, panelists from all across India and have known them for quite some time while I was in the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, a subject very dear to me, ecology. So, of course, I'm sorry to say that the ministry does much less for the ecology than how to damage ecology. The clearing house, it has become clearing house. So we'll hear about this. But I'm glad that we have an institution, Center for Environment Education, keeping the flag high so that the nature's resilience, there's no waste in nature, that continues. We keep on telling the young generation, the humans, those who are coming up now, that let's not waste an inch of whatever nature has given us. So we are set for the day. Shall I invite the next? Acha, okay. Tushar Bhai will take care of that. And I will, as a career civil servant, always they used to make us sit on a chair and listen to others and try and, conclude. So I'll do that. Thank you so much for the opportunity and all the very best.
Thank you, sir. You made my job easier not to remind you that please pay attention, take down your pointers, and then sum up everything at the end. Thank you. Friends, as we know, circular economy principles and practices are gaining more and more attention these days. But not everybody or everyone is familiar with what circular economy, what sustainability is all about. The lack of knowledge on this front makes it rather challenging to shift society towards sustainable production and consumption patterns. Although SDGs have defined, we have read, we have tried to practice and preach, but not many of us in the society are really aware of what circularity is, what circular economy could be, how education plays an important role in this domain. So today, through this session, we are trying to address a few of the points which will be elaborated upon by the esteemed panelists here as to how they perceive education in circular economics or circularity both. With that, I would like to invite first Mr. Sudhir Kumar, who has spent a number of years at the Niti Aayog into planning various things, including that on the educational front through Niti Aayog. Sudhir Kumar ji.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jani. And thank you, C, for inviting me for this C40 conference. Very interactive, very diversified themes, and that impacts all of us. You know, Niti Aayog is earlier it used to be the planning commission, and this body used to make the 5 years plan, and that got little discontinued after the 12th 5-year plan. And in 2015, this reincarnated this body got reincarnated into a very cross-cutting kind of think tank that looks for the high impact areas and policy making and connects to the federal states in India. And the chairman is the Honorable Prime Minister and supported by the Vice Chairman Niti Aayog. So, Niti is also parallelly a body that reports for the development on the SDGs. And one of the SDG relates to the sustainable consumption and production. And we initiated some kind of conversation on what kind of transition is required for the businesses, for the economy to be more sustainable. And this dialogue was getting little bit, synergy and influenced by the discussions that have been happening for quite some time at the, say, World Economic Forum, G20, G7 also, where this circular economy is being discussed and initiatives are being planned at the country's level also, how they really shape up the, say, resource efficiency dimension so that the economies are less and less dependent and there is more efficient, productive use of the resources particularly. So a lot of work was started in 2020, but always in all organizations, the issue is where to start. Should we, keep on discussing and nothing concrete for action? That's always a dilemma. And say 2018 to 2020, there was a lot of work in Ministry of Environment also for the policy for resource efficiency. But policy is one part, equally important who will be implemented it and how it will be implementing. So in place of, we had a framework that point of time, policy for resource efficiency, but we rather gave more emphasis on the translating the themes into that and putting up in a broad framework of the circular economy, because both of them, the popular connotation is that they are almost similar dimension they are attending. So we initiated 2020 11 groups or say industry sectors where we can holistically look forward for applying the concepts of circular economy and resource efficiency. But the challenge was who will take the ownership for its design, listing out the action areas and thereafter implementing that. So Niti Aayog took a nodal position and we entrusted the responsibility to the respective line ministries, say in areas like e-waste with the Ministry of Electronics, tires, gypsum, batteries, end of life of vehicles, and many others. In total, there were 11 areas. An area relating to the agriculture waste was also there, because burning of the stubble fire, we call it parali, this area in the northern near to Delhi and all that, it impacts the air quality very badly. So these groups, they came out and a common understanding emerged that in absence of the certain kind of regulatory measures, and we can't really put all stakeholders, respective stakeholders for committing and to take some kind of responsibility framework. And that way we came out and we decided for that many of these sectors will require some kind of extended producers responsibility, and that aligns to what is being what is being implemented in many of other countries, G7, G20 countries. So what we see that last three, 4 years, Ministry of Environment under the either in the hazardous waste or the Environment Protection Act, they have introduced EPRs in many sectors. Steps like enlarging the basket for the e-waste. Now the e-waste segment where EPR is implemented is includes more than 100 plus products, and similarly a lot of work is being carried out in other areas. One of the design principle at the policy level was that Department of Industrial Policy, they had been working on the ease of doing business, and parallelly we are trying to introduce a range of new regulations. So the basic directive was something that we have not to go for regulatory measures that seriously impede the ease of doing business. So having some kind of balance for that. And by 2020 we had experience for EPR implementation of 2 sectors like plastic waste and the e-waste. And a concern was that time that it's very difficult to handle all these things manually, so a lot of application of digital technologies, portals, and voluntary reporting that has to be done. And so voluntary reporting, but parallelly it has to be complemented with, in case reporting is not, or onboarding of the companies voluntarily on the portal is not happening, that they have to be speeded up also with the support of the state pollution control boards. So this has been a journey, and a lot of thing relates to the stakeholders, how we include stakeholders while designing the policy elements or regulatory elements or that takes care of subsequent implementation aspects. So in these 11 working groups, each working group had, say, 15 to 25 participants, stakeholders, as diverse as from, say, industries, say, civil societies or the regulatory bodies like CPCB and, say, Bureau of Indian Standards, because many of these waste or, say, reuse, recycling, they come out with the secondary materials, and unless we have a clarity on the what kind of standards, quality standards, these secondary materials will be meeting. Because we wanted to link all these circular economy initiatives to the market, say secondary materials, recycling also, one of the strong element of the circular economy. But interestingly, reflecting back that point of time, we didn't connected it to the education or higher education side. Might be because unless we have clarity at the higher policy making regulatory aspect, we cannot clearly lay out the path for the education. And here I again reflect back, the education elements, that's more related to the design for environment. That is the, practicing aspect of the circularity. Another two themes that provides the foundation for, that is the life cycle analysis for the different sectors. And another is that that's being very much into the scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. Scope 3 is something that industry has not been able to fully, take into account, but the regulatory measures, they specify that 250 companies by this year, they will be reporting on the scope 3 emissions, a kind of studies and analysis and that is required by the industry to come out with their assessment of scope 3. That will be providing a lot of foundation for the further initiatives and the kind of competencies, skill sets required for the businesses and to ultimately design for businesses for circularity. So these four, 5 themes, they will be integrating and making a set of dimensions through which a core can be set up, through which further, detailed out what kind of initiatives for educating for circularity is required. One element I missed out, that's innovation and startups, because many of these circular businesses, they will be getting from the innovation side and from the startup side. So briefly, I think these 5 elements, they will be making core for education for circularity, and that might be a strong starting point. Thank you very much. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Although I had requested for 5 to 6 minutes, Max has taken close to 10 minutes, so we'll cut 4 minutes from his second session. Please try to be as brief as possible so that we can have all of you speak to us, and then maybe we can have a repeat session, some questions from the audience, and time enough for the chair to conclude. Thank you. With that, I would like to invite Mr. Prabhjot Sodhi, a lifelong experience in the domain of circularity and sustainability. He possibly would brief us about his present engagement with us and the work he's carrying out and how it is leading to education in circularity. Thank you.
Your 1 minute is not counted in my file.
No, that is not. I'm starting the stopwatch now.
Okay, that's very good. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, chair and very esteemed panel. Thanks for putting this together. Now, I must tell you one thing. Sudhir is a very humble person, and he's the one who really sat in those from 2016, sir, right in the Niti to draft these. I was part of this with him, never knew him, but I was trying to all the time impassion that how much of knowledge that he carries, and it will be beneficial to interact with him. My 1 minute gone. Doesn't matter. Circular economy is nothing but a systems approach to regenerative what Mr. Pandey said. So when we are talking, we are doing a project in plastics, and each one of you, we are having a 12 o'clock session with the government of Gujarat, and very senior officials from the government are coming. Please join us, and you will learn what we are doing. We are trying to move from that make, use, and throw to a more recyclable, reuse, refurbish, regenerate type of an economy through a more, I was trying to put some thoughts together, through more design elements, through services, and through minimizing the waste. In our plastics program which we do, our main emphasis is that let's create a systems approach. When you're doing the governance, something was being talked yesterday, then we have to see that these elements need to be taken care, and for these elements, what Mr. Sarabhai all the time says is education, which is very important. And the education has to go right in defining what is the system thinking, what is resource efficiency, what is the life cycle thinking, and what is regeneration. And I spend hours trying to talk to my colleagues that, look, this is your future. Meri to chalegi, jitna karna tha kar liya. But it's your life which is at stake. And when I joined the service, then India was this much, just an example. But we were 66 crores. India remains to be this much, but we are 140. And over a period of time, we are even going to go more. And if that be the case, then we are fighting between ourselves, and we are trying to excel there. So education is an extremely important element in trying to drive home this whole thinking of innovative problem solving, which Sudhir said. He talked about this. Industry is in the sustainability reports, the ESG. I was talking to Mr. Tyagi, and I mean, it's difficult to really do the scope 3 emission factors. And we are having a jury member for the blue flag, the forest officer. I think so the technical and the vocational skills which need to be built in the system, then only we can have circular economy. I'll close here because it will save you a minute. Thank you very much, please.
Great, that was the spirit, sir. And I'm sure in this session at 12 o'clock, we'll get to learn a lot more about what he's doing and how he's helping the circularity within the plastic domain. I would like to invite Dr. Naresh Tyagi now, a veteran in the textile sector, very well known nationally and internationally. And he has also been instrumental in getting the Bible made for fashion and apparel sector by none other than the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, where he was involved. Sir, would you like to tell us something about your past involvement and the presence in the segment here? Thank you.
There are two, three things. Good morning, first of all, everyone, and thank you. There are two, three things which I want to add on what has been already said, and then I will talk about that work which we are doing. I will try to do it in 4 minutes. First, I think that before we go to circular economy, we need to know why we require circular economy. It's inefficiency in our consumption and production. And again, I would say SDG 12 remind us what should be the responsible and sustainable consumption. Inefficiency in any system is creating all that problem. Mr. Pandey mentioned that nature has that regenerating its power. We only that disturb that nature. And sometimes with the economy more, we compromise on ecology. And I always say that three things. One, I think we need to have that common platform. I have closely worked with Niti Aayog and many industry forum where Mr. Sudhir Kumar has made the policy. So first and foremost, there need to be framework which everyone understand, and then policy document. How to enforce it? I think sometime government try to do it, but I would say one level beyond. In corporate, people understand it better. And that framework and policy help when we were working with the GIZ on circular economy project in textile, one of the thing is that CE is our esteemed partner in that documenting all these things. And we say that we need to have three things in that. One, what is circular economy? Second, if it is, we understand circular economy, we need to create more capability and awareness how it can be done. And third is that how we monitor it. So policy is okay, but how you implement that policy, how you monitor it is also important. To industry level, I think that industrial consumption, people are addressing it. More problem is that consumption which is beyond industrial, which is at what we call pre-consumer waste and post-consumer waste. Post-consumer waste, I think very little will happen on policy. We have seen that Niti Aayog has at each city index, Indore, Ahmedabad, etc. But until and unless we have that mindset and behavior of citizen, and citizen means that we as an individual has to take this responsibility, and civil society and community has to come together, and in that education is the most important thing. I am very pleased to know that I was not knowing much about CE before, but you visualize and you have vision almost 40 years back. That time no circularity and no environment, so much focus. I think at advanced level that lot of awareness and training and capacity building is there. It need to go one level below to the school level, where we need to build mindset and behavior for sustainable consumption. And we need to create whole ecosystem, whether it is technology or entrepreneurship or even storyteller, marketing people. So we have to create that whole community of circular economy evangelist, I would call, who will make it beyond academia, beyond industry, and take it to the civil society and make it as a mass movement. And that is the human sustainability. I look will be that key enabler for that circular economy if we visualize India to be developed, and if we take that path of 2030 to 2047, I think we have to come together. Innovation, partnership, and collaboration will make it happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Tyagi. Although I had requested, he possibly forgot to mention the Ellen MacArthur incident, which I'll ask him to repeat. And we move on to the next speaker. Sir is going to talk to us about his experience in the blue flag domain, a certification which CEE gives to the best of the beach as per certain norm standards, and his experience in and around the marine area. Thank you.
A very good morning. Circularity was, as Chairman said in the beginning, I also got a last-minute call yesterday night, very late night, and being a blue flag beach juror, I had not looked at this system or this approach of managing a system from blue circulatory point of view. And the other thing which comes to my mind now, standing over here, that my circularity as an individual is completing today, for the last 2-3 days, because last time I was here in 2010, when CE was developing a marine interpretation center, the first one in India, in Andaman and Nicobar Island, and I was working over there. And such a beautiful thing which came up with 2 years of association. Things were packed here, transported all the way to Andamans, and that system is still functioning very well. I'll be talking about it in the afternoon session, for which I had actually come for. Circularity, after I was given this topic, I looked at it, and whatever we are doing, we generate a lot of things, including waste, and some things degenerate, some things come back to us, and that is the circularity. And if we maintain a system in a way that whatever comes back to us is good or can be reused, yeah, that's perfect system. But then it's not happening. And Looking at blue flag as an example, I will tell you how this circularity is actually the foundation of this whole concept. And if we can imbibe some of these things, lessons which we are incorporating in this managing in the blue flag beaches, I think the message will be complete. And that's where the education part comes into this picture. You know, a system where the material does not become a waste, okay? So, and a product is being manufactured in a system or ecosystem or economics. So when we look at a beach, it's a product. It's a product which is developed over millennia, and the nature takes care of that, and nothing happens over there. Whatever is happening is very, very systematic, and you go there and then you feel it. You go to a pristine beach and then you will realize what is this. Everything is happening, the tides and those are coming and going, the animals and birds are playing, and you just watch it. But when you enter into a system, a beach system nowadays, it's a large crowd, a huge waste generation, and at times, yeah, it becomes out of you want to come out of that thing. But I would say now, after my experience and after looking at the blue flag system and now implementing it, we got about 12 beaches now which are certified as blue flag beaches. If you enter into a blue flag beach, you will realize that pristinity, somewhere it is coming back to us, and you will feel the actual, the oneness with the nature over there, and that's where the focus is. The blue flag beach, like in case of circularity, it has got certain pillars. And these pillars actually are very, very critical. They're very important. And if we say the environmental education and creating awareness is the pillar number one. And that's where the CEE comes into picture. I think when this system is in practice for so many decades, but it has come to India in only 2018, a very recent phenomena which has come to us. And the next pillar is water quality. You know, the beach and water, these two, the land meets the sea meets the land. And this interface is very, very critical. The water quality, the criteria are very, very strict in blue flag certification process. The E. coli, every day we generate waste. Early morning systems are there in our system, and that goes through the system in through a process and comes back to us through the water. And the E. coli, so the blue flag, one of the biggest criteria, the most stringent criteria, the water quality, because if you're going to the beach, you go into the water and you will get connected with the water and it comes back to us. So when you go to an ocean, it looks vast. You throw anything in an ocean, ultimately it comes back to us. The plastic, it floats, we think that it's floating, it's gone away, but then now it's coming back to us into the form of a microplastics. And when we eat a fish, that microplastic is entering into our system. So nothing which we throw out, it will come back ultimately to us through air, through water, through the system. But if you see nature, I am a forester, I have managed protected areas, and we try, and when we learn from nature, and you go into management of a marine protected area or a land-based protected area, there is no waste management system is there, but you won't see who is managing the waste. So they're part of the system. Whatever is being generated, as Dr. Hempande said, that nature takes care of itself, and that's where we are looking into from the beach management for blue flag beach also. Other than water quality, the next pillar is the waste management, on-site waste management. So whatever is brought over to that beach has to be recycled, segregated, and reused. So the non-biodegradable waste, we have on-site composting systems, and this waste is put back into the horticulture or to the vegetation which is growing along the beach. And the water is treated, the wastewater is treated, and then this treated water, as per the norms, is again used for the horticulture purpose. So that's these two basic principles are there. Then the safety and the services. You know, if we are looking at the safety aspects, if the system is providing a safety, I think we are healthy. We are in a very hygienically regulated water, which comes to us, and we leave that place in a very healthy and a safe environment. We stay there and then come out of that. So beach safety is also very, very critical. Physical safety is also very critical. So from these point of view, I must say that Blue Flag Beach and is like an open laboratory now. And I think the CE has taken a very strong step in this direction, and our effort will be that we should try to bring more beaches under this management system. And we are started getting lot of requests are coming to us, but then the water is connected to the surroundings, and whatever goes around the outside the system also, it comes back to us. So it's not very easy to get a Blue Flag Beach certification, and we have to look beyond the coast, beyond the river entering into the system. A lot of things will come through that. So actually going for a Blue Flag Beach certification, we are looking into the circularity in a much larger perspective, and that is where we are, I think, will be much more benefited if more and more beaches are brought under this management system, like a particular area management system. And I think that's the way forward for us in coming and the near future also. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for mentioning CE's role in getting the Blue Flag certification and helping keep that local environment clean. And you are right in saying that there should be more and more beaches which get certified through such efforts, and then it becomes a voluntary action. Next is Ms. Saranya Kumari from Tamil Nadu, who will be sharing with us her perception about circularity and what she's doing.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். Good morning to one and all present here. It's been a great privilege to be a part of this conference at CEE. And myself, Saranya Kumari, working as a Chief Minister's Green Fellow under Government of Tamil Nadu. We have been known that Tamil Nadu is pioneering in the climate change initiatives and having its own green climate company. Coming to the point, we all know that the linear economy, which is nothing but the take, make and dispose principle, which is creating so much of environmental degradation that is being outdated. Now, coming to the circular economy is not just an option, it is a necessity. We know that the education is important for making any transformative changes in the society. I could feel that creating the knowledge repositories for the kids and brainstorming them for their improvement in sustainable lifestyle could be the most important factor that needs to be analyzed and to be worked on. It maybe starts from the common thing. In Tamil, there was a saying that வீடு சுத்தமாக இருந்தால் நாடும் சுத்தமாக இருக்கும். That means whatever the change that needs to become from ourselves. We know that the change alone is permanent, but it needs to be come from our own self. So when our home is it is to be clean, that makes the country to be clean. And there was a saying once, the kids are very naughty and they can be controlled only by their parents, but now it is a scenario that the parents can be controlled only by their kids. They are accepting only their kids' words other than that. So it needs to be inculcate the important things and the sustainability practices among the kids at their ages. It is not only through the curriculum, and it also needs to be giving the trainings or workshops or hands-on trainings to the people, to the communities, once it may be the self-help groups or the rural communities, and it may be from the waste segregation or converting the waste or the trash into the concept of cash. We have some of the kids at the schools having the concept of giving all the waste which are around their school campuses that can be converted into their stationaries, that is like a bank, plastic bank schemes. So the kids have to be educated with all the things that is necessary for a sustainable lifestyle management. And I just want to add two more things. In our offices, we used to practice two suggestions, that is the sustainable meetings as well as the sustainable festivals that we conduct. We usually go for the cloth banners rather than going for the PVC banners. Even that cloth banners can be converted into cloth bags, and that can be given to the participants and also to the guests which they are been coming. So we always talk about the reduce, reuse and recycle. These are the 3 R's that is being combined with the circular economy, but I could feel there should be also the 3 E's, that is educate, enforce and empower. When these 3 E's gets connected with the 3 R's, we could have some ER, which could be the exact responsibility of every citizen. They have to be taken care of to give the equal life on this earth, since there is no planet B. Thank you all.
That was more like a rapid fire, but still a very important message. Very important message, because this is where the education lies truly, when we are talking to the younger generation and getting them learn things which they can grow with, educate them and empower them. We have a scheduled time of 10:30 to conclude, so we may not really have uh, a second round. So, but Mr. Haim Pandey would be concluding the session for us by summing up the deliberations this morning. Pandey, sir.
Any comments, any reaction from the floor? Because all learned panelists were well on time and we have saved time, so floor is open if anybody wants to add or disagree. So, Tushar Babu, by 5 minutes? Okay. Picking up from what Saranya Kumari was saying, I think Kartikeya Bhai, that Parampara document, the huge, that must be available, I think, on the online. That, how we have been a circular economy as a country, how we have been, not wasting anything. Even today we practice, the toothpaste, the tube, the way we use. And there are so many, umpteen examples. We just do not wait. So we follow nature. Unfortunately, the surroundings, the environment. That's why I don't like the word environment. Environment is human-centric. Our problem is, when it comes to litter, when it comes to, waste, we follow holistic approach. We go whole hog. Whereas, in order to be a resource efficient economy or a system, our approach should be holistic. Unfortunately, when it comes to dirtying the system, we are holistic. But when it comes to doing something, we work in our own silos. We individually, corporations, sub-national governments, local self-governments, all of us have best practices to show. But when it comes to a holistic approach, we lag there. And circularity, even ESG, environmental social governance, it realized that there is something amiss. So the ESG framework, sustainability, all these terms were coined. Unfortunately, we are back to square one. The holistic approach is not there. We are working on our own silos. Even government departments, if Environment Ministry or Niti Aayog, they make a framework, a legal framework, policy framework. When it comes to implementation, the other side, I think there's a huge deficit. The compliance, I have been witness to 8 years in the Environment Ministry in government. The amount of late rush for getting clearances, when you have done the financial closure of your project, you've done everything, then suddenly you realize, oh, there's a ministry where we have to seek some clearances. Then you rush at the last moment, and hell breaks loose if you delay the clearance. Once the clearance is done, take the paper and put in your cupboards, put in your pocket, and then don't realize, what was written there, the compliance part. Compliance part is just not there, and if you seek compliance, again hell breaks loose. I think we need to change. We need to change on this. If it's not too late. And that's why coming back to nature protects if she is protected. Nature, you know, nothing is ever wasted in nature. Just think, nothing is ever wasted. Everybody functions there when it comes to individual roles in that food chain, food web, trophic levels. Each one works in the silos, but in tandem, so that the holistic impact is there is no waste in nature. Why our systems, our governance systems do not learn? We have learned, we have picked up the best from the nature, and we are still trying to control nature. But, without realizing, we were trying to make, Professor Bharucha, I think we are trying to make artificial, photosynthesis. So, I think some laboratories, but, the ecosystem service, the best example is photosynthesis. Biotic, abiotic, delivering you, the kind of service. So that I think the time has come to monetize all the ecosystem services, bring the economic angle there, the valuation of ecosystem services. We are trying in the Environment Ministry once upon a time evaluating each and every ecosystem services. Some which are already monetized are, we know that, but like a tree, the shade of a tree, it has not been monetized. Shade of a tree. And this whole campus, CEE's whole campus is an example of an ecosystem survey. I was told it was a sand dune. It was a sand dune. And today you feel, when you walk here, you feel, a different microclimate here. So, this is how we need to think, or of course, what Prabhjot was saying, and 2.5% of the world, we are having 20% of the population. So India challenge is even much more. That's why you see more waste everywhere. We don't have the luxury of land in this country, so we need to be more efficient. So with these words, let me thank all the learned panelists here for the wonderful time that you gave and the thoughts. And I think we need to take it forward as soon as possible. Thank you for the patience shown by the distinguished participants here, and wishing the conference, wishing CEE many more decades of service in educating the whole world about the importance of nature, importance of environment, ecology, and saving this earth from the degradation that we are witnessing. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
Sir. Before saying thank you and goodbye, I would like to request the chairperson, Dr. Pandey, to honor and felicitate our esteemed speakers by presenting them with a case, as we call it, the gesture of Hindu tradition. Starting with Tyagi Saab, since you are in a hurry to go, he was kind enough to stay behind for an hour. He has a meeting scheduled at 9:30, very far away from here, but on our request he came. Thank you, Dr. Tyagi. Thank you so very much. Very kind of you, sir. And we look for more opportunities. Sudhir Kumar ji. Sir, सबके साथ है. Please, sir. Shri Prabhjot ji. Ajay sir. Please, ma'am. Thank you.